With process. So good morning and also good day to all the participants. I hope some participants are outside Bangladesh. So wherever you are participating, good day to everyone. And on behalf of the organizers, I'd like to welcome you all to this fifth Global Gobeshona Conference and this IRRI organized session on Agri-Food System Innovation for Food Security. So from the title, I'm sure you have already got some idea. The focus of this session is about agriculture production system, climate change, and food security. In terms of geographical focus, this is focus on Bangladesh and within Bangladesh also in the coastal zone, which is one of the climate hotspot regions. So during the presentation, you will see there is a lot of emphasis not only on food production, but also on the climate resilience. In terms of research and innovation focus, this is IRRI organization. So we have very strong focus and emphasis on IRRI's research and innovation, especially on the coastal zone in terms of crop production, water management, gender, climate change, and policy and institutional issues. We have 5 presentations from 5 highly knowledgeable and experienced agriculture scientists. Dr. Manoranjan Mandal, who is water management scientist, will talk about scaling crop and water management innovations using cluster-based farmer field school model. Dr. Sharif Ahmed is agriculture scientist who will talk about sustainable intensification and diversification of the cropping systems. Dr. Jayanta Bhattacharya, who is another agriculture scientist, will talk about women and youth empowerment through agri-entrepreneurship, especially focusing on the small-scale farm mechanization. Dr. Maurani Sarkar, who is a gender specialist, who will talk about the inclusive water governance for agri-food system transformation. And finally, Dr. Salahuddin Ahmed, who is the social scientist, who will talk about the policy and institutional issues to enhance water, climate, and agriculture nexus. What are the challenges and what type of policy and institutional issues are needed to influence and to transform that one. So this is the brief overview about the session. I hope this session will provide enough knowledge and also the opportunities to exchange knowledge and ideas on research and innovation in the agri-food system. And also this will provide and inspire policymakers, researchers, academia, development professionals in terms of designing appropriate policies and programs so that we can develop productive, profitable, sustainable, and resilient agri-food systems in Bangladesh and other climate hotspot areas of Bangladesh. So also, I hope since there is participation of many people, this will also opportunity to establish professional network so that we can exchange and develop partnership in terms of research and innovation. With these few words, I wish active participation and meaningful exchange of knowledge and ideas in this session. And with me, Dr. Salahuddin Ahmed, who will co-moderate this session. So he will be the main person to facilitate more in terms of question and answer other session because I need to participate in another program after some time. So now I wish a very productive session, and best wishes all the presenters. And I would like to hand over the facilitating this moderating session to Salahuddin to take forward. Thank you.
So can I now invite Dr. Manoranjan Mondol to present his presentation on cluster farmer field school model, a practical approach for scaling crop and water management innovations in the coastal border zone to address future food security challenges in Bangladesh. Dr. Manoranjan Mondol, the microphone is yours. Dr. Mondol? Are you there?
I think there is interruption and I couldn't see him in a panelist. Maybe he's dropped out. Let me check he's in our attendee list.
Let me call him.
I'm close by. I'll just check if there is any issue. I'll check with him.
Okay, thank you. Maybe he's disconnected for some reason.
I think there it's he is having some technical issue. I guess we can start with the second presentation with Joel.
Okay,
and
with
then
Dr. Sharif.
Yeah, maybe Dr. Sharif.
Okay, Dr. Sharif, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm here, ready.
Okay, so Dr. Sharif Ahmed, our postdoctoral fellow at IRRI, Agri-Food Systems, he will present on challenges and opportunities of crop intensification and diversification in the coastal region. Dr. Sharif, please.
Yeah, okay.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Let me share my slide first. Can you see my presentation?
No, it's an email screen. Hello.
Go to the next window. I guess you have different window.
Okay. Dr. Sharif?
Is it okay
Yes.
now?
Go to presentation mode, please. Yes, you can
It's
start.
okay?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. The sound is okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So, good morning, good afternoon from where we are attending this online webinar. So, I'll present, sorry. Challenge and opportunities of crop intensification and diversification in the coastal region of Bangladesh. So we know the population of Bangladesh is increasing, and to meet the food demand of increasing population, we need crop intensification. But for sustainable production, we need as well as crop diversification. So slide is not moving.
Can you use enter? It might move if you use enter.
No, it's not moving.
Probably you are using two screen.
Maybe you can get out first and then get in again. Yeah.
And if you use only one screen, it will work.
Just select your presentation screen, the window of your presentation. When the pop-up screen appear, you just select the presentation window.
Yeah, I guess Bushra can share and Sharif can present.
Yes, Bushra, please go ahead.
Okay, sir. Try once again.
Check the slide, it's moving or not,
Yeah,
and
it's,
then
it's now
you
it's
can
now
go-
it's
yeah.
working. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, please go ahead.
Okay. Sorry for the interruption. So outline of my presentation. So I will present overview of the coastal region. So agricultural challenges in the coastal region. So crop intensification, diversification challenges. So we have conducted one crop intensification, diversification trial in the Potokali region. So our attempt was engaging the intensification, and the lesson we learned from our trial I'll present. So we know the coastal region, located in the southern and southwestern part of Bangladesh. So a total 19 districts are under in coastal region in Bangladesh. So total area is covered around 32% of total land in Bangladesh. So around 40 million people live in the coastal areas. Among the population, 30% of coastal household face open seasonal food shortage. We know that in coastal areas every year people face one to even more than natural calamities such as cyclones, and each cyclones even causes around 1+ billion crop damage in every per event. So agricultural challenges, there are first the salinity. So we know the in coastal areas salinity level for soil and water is increasing, which limit the crop choice. I already mentioned cyclone and storm surge there. So every year cyclone destroy crops, inundate fields with saline water and damage the infrastructure. In the coastal region, rainfall variability is compared to higher than other parts of the country. So I little bit discuss more about this in my next slide. So another reason is prolonged water logging condition. So poor drainage and tidal flooding, some open submerged field, restricting cultivation to only 1 or 2 crops per year compared to 3-4 crop in other areas of Bangladesh. Another reason, some coastal areas, so shrimp cultivation is very common, and due to the shrimp cultivation, it declined the soil fertility due to nutrient depletion and acidification. And another challenge is limited freshwater accesses. So in the coastal area, so it's not possible to use actually underground water, and surface water, and most of the sources are affected by salinity. And another challenges is low adoption of agricultural practice. Although there are some smart agricultural practice there, but the adoption rate is very slow. So if the left side photos, so if you visit in the coastal areas, especially from January to April, so you will often see this type of scenario there. So you can find lots of cattle are in the field, but there is no green grass. So in this period, so there is also feed problem in these areas. So the almond is the actually main crop in the coastal areas, and crop intensity is also very low. Farmer open cultivate long duration almond varieties, and nowadays as a Rabi crops, farmers cultivating mung bean, sunflower, and other promising crop is also maize and groundnut. I mentioned in previous slide. So one of the reason of low crop intensification diversification is the rainfall variability. So if you see the rainfall variability graph, you can see in the monsoon season, especially from June to September, the rainfall variability in the coastal region is very high. For example, in June, the average rainfall variability is from 200 to 1,000 millimeter in 1 month. Similar in July, it's 400 millimeter to 1,000 millimeter. In another region, compared to other parts of the country, even in the post-monsoon season, especially October, November, even rainfall is higher in the coastal region. For example, in November, the average rainfall is 50 plus millimeter, which is around less than 10 millimeters in other parts of the country. So therefore, long duration almond rice and delayed planting, long duration almond rice and delayed planting are one of the major challenges of Rabi crops in these areas. So to address the issues, how we can increase the crop intensification, we have conducted one trial to evaluate of different growth duration varieties and sowing windows on the performance of almond rice and feasibility of Rabi crops in dry season. So in this trial, we have selected 3 rice varieties in almond season. So 3 rice varieties is 3 different duration. So one is short duration, Binadan 17, the medium duration, Binadan 87, and long duration, Binadan 52. So we had 3 different sowing dates. It was 2nd week of July, 4th week of July, and 2nd week of August. So actually, first sowing date, it was a little bit advanced than the farmer practice, and last 2 sowing date was between the current farmer practice. And after harvest of almond rice, we had 4 Rabi crops: grass pea, mustard, sunflower, and maize.
Dr. Sharif, can you finish by 2 minutes, please?
Okay. So we have harvested all short duration variety before mid-December, mid-duration variety within December, but long duration variety we harvested mid-January. If you see the yield, the right side is the yield of long duration, left side short duration, and middle the medium duration. So actually almost there is no effect of sowing date for the long duration varieties. But if you see the yield variability of a long duration variety, so for first sowing date, so the yield variability was very high. And we found the actually maximum yield from the delayed sowing for the short duration variety. For mid duration variety, for one variety Binadan 87, we didn't find any yield even in first sowing date, but we found maximum yield from second sowing date. After harvest of almond rice, so I mentioned for short duration variety, we harvested, first harvest was first week of November, but we are not able to sow our Rabi crops until first week of December. Actually, main reason was the wet condition of the field. But for all Rabi crops, we have completed sown within December for short duration variety, and but for long duration variety, we need to wait for at least mid-January. So if you see the yield of Rabi crops, so the upper left is the yield of mustard, upper right is the yield of maize, lower left is the yield of sunflower, and lower right is the yield of grass pea. So from all Rabi crops, we found delayed sowing decreased the yield. For mustard and grass pea, even we didn't receive any yield when sown was after harvest of third sowing of almond crops. But for maize, the yield variability was a little bit less due to actually sowing date. Some pictorial view of our trial. So the lesson we learned, short duration almond rice can help for crop intensification, but there are other associated risks because we know the short duration variety we need to transplant within 20 days. Otherwise, if it delay more than 20 days, then it further reduce the yield. And it may mature early. So if there is no area is less, then there are other associated risk is damage by birds and insects. Medium long duration varieties are less risky because of the less effect of seedling age on yield. I already mentioned the more insect and pest damage in case of early transplanting or maturity. Yield decline almost all Rabi crops with the delayed sowing. Dry season irrigation is a problem. So late Rabi need, if we go late, then we need more irrigation, but that time the reservoir water is also decreased. So there is opportunity of community-based water reservoir or water management. Other climate smart production technologies are there: sorghum, dry, mulching, zero-till, and drip irrigation. And we found homestead farming, the especially year-round vegetable production is also good opportunity to increase farmers' food security and their income.
Can you finish, please?
Thanks to all. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. For everybody, can we hold our questions for now? We can have a special Q&A session at the end of the session. So we'll get back to Dr. Manoranjan Mondal for his presentation if he's ready. Dr. Mondal, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry for the mechanical problem. So Dr. Mondal's presentation is on cluster farmer field school model, a practical approach for scaling crop and water management innovations in coastal pole region.
Can you see my presentation?
Yes.
Okay.
Put it in. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Salahuddin, and good morning to all of the participants. I will going to present on cluster farmer field school approach, a model that is a practical approach for scaling crop and water management innovations in the coastal boulder zones of Bangladesh. In this presentation, I will give you some background of the coastal zone and the boulder ecosystem, then the existing cropping and the challenges of cropping intensification, and a novel technology distribution model that we have developed for 2 decades of our research, and this impact of this innovation if we scale those in our food and nutrition security. You know that Bangladesh is currently self-sufficient in rice, but it's very difficult, facing challenges, strong challenges to maintain this food self-sufficiency because of the adverse effect of climate change and so many natural calamities, as my previous speaker, Dr. Sharif, mentioned. The cropping intensity and productivity in non-coastal zone is very high, and that is the left figure, the yellow, white portion of this Bangladesh, and the green shaded portion is the coastal zone. It's 3 million hectares, and there is little scope to increase the cropping intensity in the northern part, except the underutilized 3 million hectare lands in the coastal zone. The government constructed polders out of this 3 million hectare zone. The government constructed polders in about 1.2 million hectare encircled red, exposed to the sea, to increase the productivity and make this land habitable. But still, the productivity is very low, much lower than other parts of the country, mainly because of this and of natural calamities that I mentioned earlier, and also many reasons that my previous speaker also mentioned. And this zone obviously bypass the benefits of green regulation. So this is a polder ecosystem I like to highlight and show you. This in the southwest part, this is polder number 30. We have 162 polders. Out of that, this is one of the polder. And the dotted line across the periphery of the landmass is the embankment, at the embankment here. This is constructed to protect the tidal lands, tidal water intrusion into this land area for make the land habitable and agriculturally productive. And the dotted green spot dotted is at the sluice gate. During high tide, you can see left top corner of the slide is water intake by the sluice gate during high tide, and then the right corner of the top is the water draining during low tide. So there is the opportunity for water intake and water drain out during high and low tide, when the river water is fresh. And in the bottom two figures, the top bottom right side is the wet seasonality. It's huge water, plenty of water, excess water, and the left bottom is the dry season, as also my previous speaker mentioned. So this is the scenario of the coastal boulder ecosystem. And I am now giving a glimpse of your idea that how the tidal ecosystem behaves. This is the tidal river. It is the beginning of the high tide, and you see water is entering through the sluice gate to the boulder ecosystem. And then high and low tide occurs twice daily. And with the magnitude during high tide, the water level goes up to 3 meters above mean sea level. And at the low tide, it goes close to mean sea level. And the land elevation varies around 1 to 1.5 meter per second. Meter mean sea level. That indicates that there is a chance of irrigation and drainage by gravity. No need to pump the water for irrigation. So the existing cropping is that the farmers transplant right in the beginning of August, and then they harvest in January, end of December or early January. They open the sluice gate in the second week of or middle of the July, and shut down the sluice gate second half of December, and they produce a long duration variety, rice variety. After that, the farmers cultivate dry season crop from February to May. But second half of May is the beginning of the pre-monsoon season and the cyclonic storm. So often the crop is damaged by the pre-monsoon rains and cyclone. I'll show some of the photos of this. You can see this is a very good crop. Sesame is damaged by rainfall. And this is mung bean, this is chili, and this is sunflower. Thus, this is a climate risky pattern, and the productivity is low. Rice equivalent is 2 to 7 tons per hectare per year. As Dr. Sharif mentioned, that because of the long duration variety, the dry season crop cultivation is often fall under risky. So what we did, we conducted research more than 2 decades, and we developed an innovative model for this intensification by managing the water resources. So in the low saline area, mostly in the Bodisha region, the water is throughout the year almost non-saline, except near to the sea. But in the medium saline area, there is salinity in the dry season. So in low saline area, 3 crops can be grown, and then in the medium saline area, only 2 crops can be grown. And in the high saline, shrimp-based cropping. I did not include that in my presentation. And the productivity can be achieved from 7 to 28 tons per hectare per year. That is the 2 to 3 times higher than the farmer's practice. Then why the productivity is low? When the potential of the boulder is there, despite huge effort from the government, non-government organizations, development partners, and international organizations like IRRI. It is because of the 2 reasons. The hydrology is not considered in scaling innovations. So I will show a video of this hydrology, and then we'll go for the model. Okay. So you have seen the video. The first part of the video, the hydrology is groundwater base. And with this groundwater, the Bangladesh has intensified and diversified the cropping system in non-coastal zone, the northern part of Bangladesh. And this water can be, an individual can easily manage this. And then he or she can choose his or her own crop. But in the second part of the video, this is the coastal zone. Huge water volume is coming. It is very difficult for an individual to manage these water resources and plan for his own or her to intensify and diversify crop unless the community is involved. So how to involve this community? How to overcome these challenges of water? You can see this is the sluice gate and this is the catchment area of the sluice gate. All the catchment area are delineated. And if the community is organized based on the catchment area of the sluice gate, then only the intensification and diversification can be achieved. Otherwise, it can be sporadic. And then the community coordination is very much important in the coastal zone. This FFS model, Farmer Field School model, is widely adopted model. And that is a blanket recommendation for across the country. But the cluster-based farmer field school approach is necessary for the specific region of this coastal boulder zone. Unless we adopt this technology adoption model, we cannot achieve or intensify, diversify the cropping system in the coastal zone of Bangladesh. In the coastal boulders, there is a small hydrological unit formed. We have to organize the community and ask the community to go for similar cropping duration of crop varieties in wet season. Or then the diversification and intensification will be sustainable. Otherwise, the crop will be damaged, as I have shown in my previous slides. So how we develop this cluster-based farmer field school, or CFFS. So we worked for more than 2 decades, and we recognize that the sluice gate operation is done by the water management group or union parishad, and they don't have that much connection with the farming community. So we integrated the farmers with this water management group, that is the CFFS with FFS with water management group, and develop this cluster-based farmer field school in partnership with the community, water management association, and then the extension personnel. And we have successfully introduced this model to intensify and diversify the cropping system in the coastal zone.
Can you finish by 2 minutes, please?
Yeah, thank you. And you have seen that giving an example of two crops in the medium saline zone. The community drain the water, intake the water, open the sluice gate in the first half of July to go for seedbed preparation and land preparation. And in the second half of September, end of September or early October, they open the sluice gate for nitrogen top dressing before the panicle initiation. This is very critical. This intervention, unless they drain out the water before the panicle initiation, then the high yielding variety will not give optimum yield. It will be give yield of like traditional varieties, and that's the discouraging that adversely affect the productivity in the wet season. And the terminal drainage will be done in the mid-November to harvest the crop by end of November, and the farmer can go for a dry season crop from the January instead of February, 1 month advance, and then can escape the climatic adversities to a great extent, not fully. Thus, the rice equivalent yield can be achieved from 9 to 11 tons per hectare per year. This is the research data from 2015 to 2020. And this is considered as a climate resilient cropping practices of this zone. And interestingly is that in the dry season, since there is water salinity is high, so residual soil water and rainfall are the key events that can be capitalized to increase the productivity in the dry season. Now, coming to the conclusion, the hydrology of the coastal zone you have seen is completely different from other parts of the country. With this hydrological phenomenon, individual alone cannot successfully adopt improved agricultural technologies in the polar zone without community coordination at a watershed scale. This is very important. You need not to do in the other parts of Bangladesh. And the CFFS model that we have developed is an appropriate tool that integrates the water management organization and farmers for scaling agricultural innovation, improved production systems in the coastal borders of Bangladesh. If the production system that I have shown in low and medium saline coastal zone, if is adapted to 50% of the coastal zone by adopting the CFFS model, around 3 million tons of additional food grains can be produced every year without much investment. And thus we can have our future food security and we can achieve the sustainable development goal 1 and 2 within the time frame. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mondul. We're expecting questions from you all. Please put your question in the text box. We'll collect and then organize the question and answer session. So can I now invite Dr. Jayanta Bhattacharya, Assistant Scientist, Agri Production System. His presentation will be on the wife-husband agripreneurship approach, a socially endorsed pathway to empowering marginalized women and inspiring youth participation in agriculture. Dr. Jayanta Bhattacharya, are you ready?
Yes, sir. Can you see my
Please.
screen, sir?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you all for participating in this conference. So today I will present the wife-husband agripreneurship approach, which is the socially endorsed pathway to empowering marginalized women and inspiring youth participation in agriculture. Today's presentation outline for mine. Today I'll discuss about the how growing economy migrate the laborers from agriculture to other sectors, and how government of Bangladesh subsidized program, agriculture mechanization program run for the coastal zone, and how the time sharing manual versus mechanical harvesting of paddy, and how we pathway to develop our local service providers, and what is wife-husband model, and what is the advantages and impact of wife-husband model, and lastly the conclusion. So my two previous presenters already said about the coastal zone of Bangladesh. So in the coastal zone of Bangladesh, you can see the dense of network of the rivers and canals, and also the inside the polders. So the zone is different than other part of Bangladesh. And while the rapidly growing economy of Bangladesh has pulled to demand non-agricultural sectors laborers, resulting in the scarcity of other rural agricultural workers in the coastal zone. So this is driven ways up and is greatly affecting farm profitability. Bangladesh has great changes in the mechanizing many aspects of agriculture production and inclusion of different agriculture mechanics in agriculture mechanics, but it is almost absent in the coastal zone. So only farmers using the machines for the land preparation and other agriculture activities is still manually. So generally poor and landless men and women engage in the paddy harvesting as a day laborer. So growing labor cost and shortage of the supply, particularly during the peak harvesting period of paddy, so there is a demand driving the demand for mechanized harvesting services. Government of Bangladesh taken different projects to promote agriculture mechanization through the provision of subsidies, 50 to 70% subsidy of different machines. So recognizing the importance of the and challenges of agriculture mechanization in the coastal zone and accelerate the government mechanization program, we had initiative to develop service providers to harvesting paddy using a reaper. Initially, at the beginning, we purchased one reapers and organized different demonstrations of these machines, how they can use it. So, and the training for the women who are engaged in this harvesting process. So, which is physical burden are women doing the manual harvesting, increase women contribution to household earnings, and create awareness of the women for mechanized harvesting of paddy. So here you can see the two women who are as a manual harvest, work for the manually harvested paddy during the harvesting time. And you can see the first one, Nomita Goldar, and second one is Madhuri Mondal. How is the time spending during the harvesting time? So you can see the manual harvesting, they use the 36% harvesting time, while as they use machines, only 17% time is expending. But most importantly, the lasering period. So sleeping period in manual harvesting 33%, and also mechanical harvesting 33%, but lasering period 4% to 4% to 8%. So they're working for the manual harvested by 12 to 22 days per year, but only income $45 to $75 per year. In the second, the Madhuri Mondal is also the similar pattern like Nomita Mondal, Nomita Goldar. There are also changes in the time period of the sleeping, 29% to 34%, and also laser period 2% to change to 8%. So mechanical harvest earn similar amount of money, but only 4 to 5 days they use the machines and enjoy more lasering period. So how we develop the local service provider in last 9 years? At the beginning in 2016 and 17, we just give them the training and initiate different training modules, and also give them the hands-on training with the local community leaders also. So in 2018, we observed that most of the women are interested to using this machine and going for the income model. So 2018, we purchased one more reaper to growing interest of the community. So in 2019, we observed that the household income also increased and lasering time also increased rather than the manual harvesting. And service provision changed from 1 to 8 hours per day to gradually increase 17 to 27 days per year. So we have two harvesting season, wet season and the dry season. So two seasons they can harvest in a year. So in 2020, we implemented the wife-husband model to address the challenges of reaper and used by the women. So then next 3 successive years in 2021, 2022, and 2023, our 3 service providers, Antara Mondal, Jhumpa Begum, and Kia Begum, purchased own reaper, but with the help of the government subsidy, and they got the 50% subsidy by purchasing these reapers. And in the 2024 and 25, so our 4 pair of wife-husband local service provider continued their activity, and you can see in the bottom the income increase, how the income increased from $45 to $75 per year to $313 to $2,245 per year. So why was wife-husband model? We already discussed about the women's, but now include the husbands of her. So why these models we introduce? So women's service provider faced different difficulties during the operation of the machines and also the transportation of the machines from one place to another. So locally they use the van, the electric van, to move the reaper from one place to another. And you see the different rivers inside the polders. Roads are not good. So and taking road to the field, machine need help. You can see in the bottom figure there is need to the assistance, and upper figure how they move. So how the distance they cover is during their working period. So about 6.7 to 15 kilometers they move and using by a van repair. So we think that they need assistance of a young people to move this machine. So then we introduce wife-husband model and recognize the assistance of the young man and transport and also the taking time. So what is the advantages of wife-husband model? It is
finish by 2 minutes, please.
Yes, sir. It is socially acceptable, and farmers can and women can get easily flexible time to work because her husband also work together, and she can take rest. And income of the service provider increased due to the more working hour they can use. Husband can also use as a laborer to bundle the paddies, and landowner can also give them assistance to access to bundle the paddy from field to home. So what is the impact of wife-husband model? So you can see I presented only two local service providers, how they income and expenses in different purposes. So our first is Jumpa Begum and Ronukul Sheikh. This is the local service provider. So as wife and husband, they earn $2,819 in 9 seasons. Most of the cases they expend their land purpose. They bought 5 decimal of land and also give the loan payment about 30% income they use there. And also interestingly, they also engage and introduce aquaculture farming, who is a recurring currency and continue their income for the long. And the second is the Madhuri Mollik and Anjan Mollik. They are earning $2,842 in 14 season. They also initiate a grocery shop, which is also continuing for the whole year round, because only 2 seasons they are harvesting for the few days, but other days in the year they use in the income from the grocery shop, and they also increase the livestock farming. They purchase a cow, rearing the cows, and also use the livestock feed from their income. So at the end, we can say that agriculture mechanization has shown promise, increasing the household income, reducing the women drudgery, improving health and overall household well-being. So the wife-husband model seems to be technically appropriate and socially acceptable in the coastal zone of Bangladesh. For successful mechanization service provision of this model depends on the training and financial ability of the landless laborers to purchase machines. So financially ability can be addressed linking with the two sources like the government mechanization promotional initiative, 50 to 70% subsidized, and other financial institutions like local banks or the other private or partnerships, private and public organizations. So this might be an option for empowering women and youth, becoming mechanized service provider and ensuring improved livelihood of the resourceful women of the communities of the coastal zone of Bangladesh. Thank you all.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Dr. Bhattacharya. We'll keep our questions on hold. So can I now invite Dr. Mourani Sarkar, Assistant Scientist of IRRI Gender Research. Her presentation will be on water insecurity in coastal Bangladesh, a gender equality and social inclusion perspective.
Thank you, sir. Bushrappa, can you share the screen? So I'm very glad to be speaking about our recent work on agriculture water insecurity experience in coastal zone in Bangladesh. It's a gender equality and social inclusion perspective. Next slide. So very briefly, I will give you a context about why we did this study and why it's really important and necessary to look at women's access to use and challenges from agricultural water use. And I also wanted to talk to you about the methodology that we have used, which is actually used globally to measure the household water insecurity experience. And that was developed by Dr. Sarah Young from Northwestern University. So we use that tools and we have changed and adapted this methodology. And we look at this HY scales to agriculture, food systems, water insecurity, which we call as AgWise. Then I will carry on giving you some field insight on how does this AgWise scales provide insights on gender dynamic on water insecurity for youth. Then I will also conclude. I will conclude with some key takeaways. Next slide, please. So you all knows about the coastal areas, the vulnerability of coastal area, the climate stress, salinity issue, and my previous colleagues already have spoken about these things, so I'm not going to repeat those. But what I really wanted to mention here that all those challenges have resulted in exclusion of the most marginalized and vulnerable groups, and women in these regions, or what we known as that climate, agriculture, or gender inequality hotspot, are a really high risk to climate change. We have some very interesting publications at the right side. Maybe if you're interested, we can share you these links. Next slide. Now the question is, we all know that women are vulnerable, so what? So what is really interesting that when we think about the water, we talk about the water for women, we actually correlated this water insecurity for the domestic use, for drinking water, for other domestic purpose. We are really not used to think about their agriculture. So statistically and also in practice, Bangladesh has a very high number of women taking on agricultural work, largely due to the climate migration in the climate, largely due to the mail-out migration due to the climate regions. What's really interesting is that a lot of their work is still invisible. And it's not only invisible to the policymakers or to the institutional actors, but also something that is invisible in the local context, where women deliberately try to hide their work. Because in our social context, women's working in the field is not something is very proud of. And the other interesting things is to understand that water infrastructure actors, institutions who are involved in these infrastructures are mostly masculine. So a very recent publications from Nature articles identified that less than 5% of agri-food system innovations are actually targeted to marginalized smallholder farmers. So if you think about the women, the targeted amount will be much smaller. So in the situations where women are increasingly doing agricultural work, but in reality, they are not having a place for voice in water decision makings or water governance, it's become more pertinent to look at this issue for us. So for this reason, it was very interesting, and we was very interested to look at the gender experience in water. Next. Okay, so here is the WISE framework that was developed by the Northwestern University that I had mentioned at the beginning. So they measured the household water insecurity for 3 issues: access, use, and reliability. And they developed these 12 items. And it is a very globally accepted tools to measure not only the physical, economic, and social challenges for domestic water, but also the psychological stresses. And I was very lucky to be part of the team while they're developing this manual. Anyway, it was developed for the domestic waters. So what we did next step. So we actually got in touch with the Northwestern University. Next. So we got in touch with the Northwestern University team and designed the same framework, but we look at the agri-food systems. So we had a team of 3 from different organizations. So myself from IRRI, Dr. Deepa Joshi from IMI, Dr. Sarah Young from Northwestern University. So we estimated kind of all possible items that can be related to the agriculture water insecurity and pilot tested in the fields and other key stakeholders and came up with the final 12 items. But this is the initial stage. We are welcoming the feedback for further modify these tools. Next slide. So we define agriculture water insecurity as a lack of adequate, reliable, and inequitable access to sufficient and quality water for crop, livestock, fisheries, and so on. By asking these 12 item questions, you can measure the agricultural water insecurity experiences. To know more, you can also go through these manuals that we have developed. It's open access. Next slide. So just to get an example that how we ask this question. So we have this 12 items, and each 12 items we have a question like this. For example, the first one is, how often in the past 12 months have you or someone in your household worried about the problems for water for food production? And the worry can be the too much water or little water or no water, or this worry can be happen from the drought or flood, or can be the canal grabbing issue. So by this 12-month questions, you have to ask this. Subsequently, you have to ask this all items question. Next. Now, what are the application of this AgWise tools? So you can identify the population groups who are most vulnerable for water insecurity. You can identify the gender and intersectionality gaps for water use. And you can also look for the level and extent of water insecurity. You can map the physical, economic, diet, and emotional stress for water insecurity. You can also look at the impact for the water insecurity and its impact on the food security, poverty, or the other household well-being. And you can track the water insecure household over the time, and you can also kind of monitor about any policy related programs for water insecurity. Next. Now I also wanted to give you some field insight that we have done in last years. So we implemented the AgWise or IWise modules in 800 randomly selected respondents in 2 folders in Khulna, the southern coastal part of Bangladesh. I really wanted to highlight 3 key interesting findings here. The first one is the assumptions that that women engage with domestic water and men use access and elements for the productive water use. So the result is very clear from these two pictures. So you can see from the left and right figures that about 74% of men and 58% of women are experience water insecurity. And for the domestic water insecurity, 20% of men and 43% of women are experienced domestic water insecurity. So both men and women actually experience domestic and agricultural water insecurity. If you look at the bar chart, you can see that the severity of agricultural water insecurity are more prominent than domestic water scarcity in this coastal regions. Next slide. The second interesting finding is that we look at the inequalities in water access. So the experience of productive water insecurity actually varied through intersectional lengths. It differs by age group, land ownership, marital status, and household categories. And of course, the experience of water insecurity are shaped by the power privilege, intra-household power privilege. So experience between the wealthy household and also the poor household are not same, it's different. And from the figure, you can see that people from all age group actually experience the water insecurity. But the people in 30 to 60 years old year groups, they experience more than the other groups. Coming to this, the widows, separate women, and female head households, women from these groups actually experience more agricultural water insecurity. So from the FGD findings, we also find that it's a part of that, apart from the policy shift and then infrastructural intervention that have resulted those kind of sort of water challenges, we also find that laws, the legislations are often misinterpreted to enable this water appropriation. So for example, canal grabbing actually make the differentiation in the water access, use, and availability for different groups of people. Next slide. So the last one is that the psychological consequences we figure out from this advice modules. So it's a very interesting findings that agricultural water insecurity has economic food challenges, but it also equally impacted on the psychological and emotional stress. And these burdens are very high on women, especially who are left behind by the men who have migrated temporarily or permanently for the work. So in the figure, you can see that men experience more physical, economic, and emotional challenges for agricultural water crisis. But we actually further explored this through FGDs, and we found that it's very interesting again. They say that women say that due to social norms, they tend to normalize their psychological issue because in our society, women cannot show their angers to others. So shame, anger, and worry, even if you experience this in these challenges, they don't express it vocally. So similarly, women also tend to normalize the physical challenges more than men. Next.
You have 2 minutes, please.
Almost done, sir. So key takeaways is what I wanted to say that women are largely invisible in the water governance issues. Women experience agriculture and men also experience that water challenges and also with varying intensity and experience of this water insecurity. It cannot be normalized and it's depend on the gender. It's shaped by the intersectional identities, power relations within the household and outside. And agriculture stress is not only the economic, physical, and food challenges, but it's also equally bring emotional challenges for everyone. Next slide. So thank you. And we, as I said, that we are in the developing this advice tools. We are actually welcoming feedback and questions. If you have any questions and feedback, I'll be very happy to answer and incorporate those very insightful things in our next preparation. Thank you.
This is my turn. I will present on the issue of water and climate risk management in the coastal region of Bangladesh, institutional and policy issues. Yes. All right. I think my responsibility has been compensated partly by other presenters earlier because you already know the issues, major risks in delta areas like the southern Bangladesh. So these are, extreme precipitation, drought, salinity, tropical storms, sea level rise, extreme heat, everything. And we also have already understood the complexity of water management in the coastal regions because of, the tidal system and big rivers and the canal networks inside and outside the defined boulders. We also have already learned about the status of the coastal regions so far. So I don't need to go through on those. And if we actually look back and try to understand that how this region was developed over time, so we have a history about that started in 1960s. Before the 1960s, it was the community, they used to take the responsibility of their own water management on their own, convenience based on problems and at a micro level. But after 1960s, there was a big initiative by the national government with the help of the donors and UN agencies and World Bank. So they went for big coastal embankments initially, and then in the 1970s up to the end of 1990s, there were all these boulders were constructed. So as you already heard about the numbers, it turns out to be about 162, but there are also statistics about 139. So until 2000s, these continued to be built. And then the issue of how the community could be, engaged with this process so that we make it more participatory and based on people's demand, etc. And with that, we also have seen the development of the mechanism for that how we can make more projects, folders, more participatory through different initiatives like guidelines for participatory water management, guidelines for integrated planning for sustainable water resources management, participatory water management rules by the government, and then Bangladesh water rules by the government of Bangladesh. Through using these tools, different projects have been designed and implemented after that time. So my presentation actually includes two recent studies conducted by the IRRI team in the coastal areas, where in one study we have seen tried to look at the water management challenges in two boulders. And then we have experimented one climate smart mapping tool that we call CSMap, which is used for identification of risks and adaptation planning. So if we now look at the main concerns of the farmers and the people who live there and develop their livelihoods, they are mainly concerns and challenged by some of these issues, like most infrastructures that has been developed or outdated or overdated. The most of the sluices are not functioning. Operation and management of sluices are problematic. Canals are silted up, and the excavations are not being done at a required rate or a time. And there is drainage issues, there is salinity issues and saline water management issues. There is issues related to how we can, manage the conflicts that comes out of the control over the khals and canals and rivers, etc., and also sewage gates. And there are issues of water management organizations that are formed but not active anymore. And there is no real supervision or overseeing by any authority. And as we know that Bangladesh Water Development Board has been really the authority for looking after these boulders, but they cannot run it properly because they have fund problems and they have also human resource issues. And although these structures and these resources are meant for agriculture and fisheries, but you know, these agencies are not really in the steering. They're not controlling these structures. Now, we had a series of workshops in 10 districts where we actually developed the approach that I mentioned, the CS map. In those workshops, the main findings that came out as strongly that all the water management issues are the main problems. About 50% of the problems that affect the existing agriculture and agriculture related other livelihoods that actually are caused by water management issues. And if we can tackle those water management issues through different adaptation measures, that can actually help a lot substantially to improve the situation of the agriculture and agriculture related livelihoods. And there is a general realization, general acceptance of the fact that the WMOs, the water management organizations, are only are necessary, and they need to be used as the building blocks for any initiative that will be taken in that region. But unfortunately, they're hardly active after a particular project is completed. So there's an issue of continuity and supervision and overseeing and management of those water management organizations and keeping them dynamic and active. So we also investigated that what are the main agencies that are involved in this agriculture and water management related issues and being utilizing the resources for their work. So people still believe that BWDB is important as an organization as far as their role and the size of the organization is concerned. They are still important. DAE was also mentioned as very important as an organization in terms of their importance for agriculture and rural livelihood improvement. But when we asked that which organization should you recommend to look after these boulders, and given the responsibility of managing, supervising, overseeing the water management organizations, it came out strongly that DAE should be given the responsibility, as most of the boulders are meant for agriculture. And there was also suggestion that in areas where fisheries could be the second most or the most important livelihood, then in those cases the fisheries department could also be given the responsibility of looking after or overseeing. But the role of BWDB is should be reconsidered in terms of taking the responsibility of looking after those water management organizations. So as I said, that we have introduced a tools which is called climate smart mapping for adaptation planning. This primarily was experimented in 10 different districts. So we introduced that this is primarily a participatory tool for identifying the climatic risks, and then with the support of the science-based, data-driven, and community-centered solutions and recommendations, we prepared that in 10 districts. I have a video to show you that how we use the process of preparing a CS map. Is the sound right?
Climate smart mapping and adaptation planning
Yes, sir, sound
is an
coming.
innovative tool that combines geographic information systems, climate data, and community input to create maps that highlight areas of risk due to climate change. These maps are crucial for planning and carrying out adaptive measures to safeguard our ecosystems and livelihoods.
CS map basically এটা participatory mapping approach. আমরা এই অ্যাপ্রোচটা বাংলাদেশের কোস্টালে প্রায় 10টা ডিস্ট্রিক্টে আমরা এটা ইমপ্লিমেন্ট করেছি। জেলাভিত্তিক কৃষির সাথে যারা সংশ্লিষ্ট কর্মকর্তা আছে বা যারা স্টেক হোল্ডার আছে তাদেরকে নিয়ে একটি কর্মশালার মাধ্যমে দিয়ে আমরা ওই অঞ্চলের বা ওই ডিস্ট্রিক্টের জলবায়ুর যে কৃষিতে জলবায়ুর যে ঝুঁকিগুলো আছে সেগুলোকে আমরা আইডেন্টিফাই করেছি। আমাদের জলবায়ুর ঝুঁকিগুলো কৃষির ক্ষেত্রে কোন কোন জায়গায় হচ্ছে এবং তার মাত্রাটা কেমন সেইটা আমরা মানে ম্যাপের মাধ্যমে আমরা সেটাকে তুলে আনার চেষ্টা করেছি। সিএস ম্যাপ অ্যাপ্রোচের এটা একটা সবচেয়ে গুরুত্বপূর্ণ দিক যে পার্টিসিপেশনটা বা মতামতটা আসছে রুট লেভেলের স্টেক হোল্ডারদের থেকে।
Areas. CS map enables communities to prioritize actions and allocate resources more effectively.
এটিকে যদি আমরা কার্যকরীভাবে তৈরি করতে পারি তাহলে কিন্তু আমাদের এক্ষেত্রে আগামী দিনের ফসল উৎপাদনের পরিকল্পনায় একটা যুগান্তকারী পরিবর্তন আসতে পারে, আসা সম্ভব।
Creating CS map involved a collaborative effort from agricultural scientists, local communities and various stakeholders.
এটাকে স্বল্প মেয়াদী না করে আমরা যদি মধ্যমেয়াদী করি তাহলে এটা মনে হয় বেশি কার্যকরী বা ইফেক্টিভনেসটা আমাদের বাড়বে।
সহায়তাকারী প্রতিষ্ঠান হিসাবে আমরা সিজিআইএস আছে, ইরি আছে বা অন্য আরও যারা সায়েন্টিফিক ইনস্টিটিউট আছে তারা তাদের সাথে একসাথে কাজ করতে পারে পুরো প্রসেসটাকে ইমপ্লিমেন্ট করার ক্ষেত্রে। বাট সামনে ডিএই সামনে থেকে যদি এটাকে এগিয়ে নিয়ে যায় তাহলে এটা আমি মনে করি যে কৃষক পর্যায়ে বা মাঠ পর্যায়ে এটা সহজেই ইমপ্লিমেন্ট করা সম্ভব।
So as you have already heard about the process of developing the CS map, I don't think I need to state this anymore. And we had a, as I already said that we have made this for 10 districts, and then district level CS map atlases were handed over to DAE. And anybody interested to have a copy can contact us for that document. Scaling of CS map to other districts and Upazila will be promising in the future. And use of CS map at polder level would be very instrumental as a tool for planning and implementation that we believe. And further support and investment to integrate an institutional CS map will be needed. This actually requires support from the national government system and also the organizations that are relevant in order to support this program would be, we can work together in future. So with the recommendations I have is the number one is further strengthening and empowering water management organizations is very crucial. The second is the deciding a lead agency, preferably DAE, to oversee support of water management organizations based on importance of priority livelihood sources is important. Then we can also consider the polder and its sub-catchments as already been stated and strengthened by Dr. Mondal previously, that the polder or subcatchments to be considered as a unit for any development in the coastal areas where there is a polder, and then innovative approach such as CSMAP could be integrated into that process to strengthen the system for planning and identification of risk and related issues. And then BWDB's role can be changed, but they should continue to support the system for at least for infrastructural purposes and their maintenance. And then depending on the need of the day, we can start working on changing the existing rules and guidelines as per need to adjust so that we can have a vibrant agri ecosystem development approaches implemented in the coastal areas. Thank you very much. So it's now time for question and answers. Anybody wants to talk, or should we go by the chat box? For I can see there is few questions for Jayanta.
Yes, sir.
Did you,
I
have
also
you
see that, sir.
already have seen those?
Yes, sir. I already have some, and I also have answers of them.
No, but you can talk and then give the answer if you want.
So do you want to ask the questions, or I already got the messages?
Should I read them?
You can read them, sir.
Yeah.
I also read them, sir.
Mr. Ayub Hussain asked you,
Yes, sir.
subsidy of agri machines are in the coastal zone is 70%, but you mentioned Reaper was purchased at 50% subsidy. Why? What about the uses purchase of other machines like seeder, thresher, and under subsidy program?
Okay, sir. Thank you for the answer for the questions. Yes, sir. We have up to 70%, but the machineries is from 50 to 70% subsidy range. So in some areas like in the Dako, where are most vulnerable areas near to Sundarban, there is 70%. But we are observing the folder 30 or others in the Botiagata Union, it's 50% subsidy on the repair. And your other questions is about the other machineries like seeders or threshers. So we observed that they have the subsidy program by the DAE, and also we have used another machines like the mini tiller. They also include the mini tiller as subsidy. So this can be also the other machines another subsidy. Farmers can use the subsidies program and also purchase from the DAE. Okay, sir. Next question, sir.
Next question from Muhammad Amin. My query for Dr. Jayanta is that he stated that income increased after harvesting by machine. Is this the net or gross income? Have you considered the cost?
Yes, we consider the both cost, gross income and net income. What we present today, this is the net income of the local service providers.
Great.
Next,
if anyone is not happy and want to, put the complementary questions, you are most welcome. You can put them in the chat, or if organizer can allow people to question, is it possible? Anybody from ICCCAD?
Yes, they can ask their questions by unmuting themselves.
Okay.
They need to just raise their hands and
Okay.
we can
Please
proceed
do that. Whoever has a question, please come forward and ask your question if you want. But meanwhile, I have another question for Sharif, Dr. Sharif. Dr. Sharif, are you there?
Sir, I have. They asked me another question to me. Manik Devnath, sir.
Okay.
The following question, sir.
Okay, please go ahead. The question
So,
is, as far I
yeah.
know, there are lots of combine harvester present in coastal areas. How the Reaper LSP can have a scope of work and profit?
Okay, so good question, Manik. We know that we work in the low saline zone and the medium saline zone. So in the low saline zone, we see a lot of combined harvesters, and also farmers using these combined harvesters for the harvesting of paddy. But how many combined harvesters purchased by the farmers? Because it is these machines are heavy, and also cost is heavy. So if there also 50% subsidy by the government, these machines cannot buy the purchase by the all. So one point another is the rich farmers can access only these machines. But we also work on the medium saline zone, like in Khulna. We see there is not too much like the combined harvesters, and also combined harvesters, also the distance and different poor locations, they cannot move. There is the rivers, so need to be go through the other way. So it's heavy difficulties there. But but this repair can only the 1 lakh taka, BDT 1 lakh BDT can pass by the marginalized or the resourceful women from the loan from different sources, and also the subsidy programs. So these repair can purchase by the small farmers, so they can use for the nearest locations, and these machines can income from the increases. And you see that's my presentation, that they can use for their income to the family purposes, and also the next crop or cropping systems, or also the next services. Thank you.
Jayanta, I can see another question for you from Mohiuddin.
Okay.
How many villages or areas are being served by the 4 wife-husband pairs, and are they encountering any challenges other than issues with machine transport?
Okay, good question, Mohiuddin. So we covered the 4 polders. Is polder 22, polder 29, polder 30, and polder 34 by 2P. This is the 2 upuzilas, Bhotiaghata and Dumuria. So the challenges is sometimes the machinery parts is not available in the locality. So they can go to the nearest place in Joshore or in the Khulna cities. They can machines, and also the different service provider, different companies, they give the services to the our local service providers. And in the transportation difficulties, they do not, because the van is very small. This machine can put on the van, and our LSPs can move to the different places, because roads is available but not good, but muddy place can move the van. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Dr. Sharif, the question is, another question from Dr. Mohiuddin is,
Yeah, I think.
poor
Yes.
drainage system. Is there any initiative in place, or have engaged with policymakers to address the issue of poor drainage in
Yeah.
coastal areas? Yeah.
Related to drainage. Yeah, okay, thank you. Actually, rainwater or excess water drain out, it's mostly drained through the canal, but it differ area to area. For example, in Potokhali, the canal are very long connected, so it passed through sometimes several villages, 2-3 villages. So in the villages, different people have different conflict. For example, so shrimp farmers, they need saline water, okay, for shrimp cultivation, but crop farmers who cultivate crop, they need fresh water. So other group of people, they need catch fish from the canal. So another group they are political person, so they earn money from among all people, sometimes farmers, sometimes shrimp farmers. So actually there are different conflict there. So actually it's difficult to manage, to drainage. There are a lot of conflict there. From IRRI side, from our side, it's really difficult to manage all this group. But in one block we worked, So we have tried to manage for our research purpose, but it is not very large scale. So I think for this type of drainage need actually political involvement, policy involvement. Local
That
leader
is what
involvement.
actually my study involved, and we have seen that DAE is taking a lot of initiative for excavation of canal with the help of BADC in different boulders, and it is being pursued through the administration as well. And that is an issue that needs to be recognized and worked with the local people in participation. So there was a question from Sokmi as we from Cambodia, I guess. Can you ask the question directly?
Yeah, thank you and good afternoon from Cambodia. Very nice to hear your presentation, and it is a learning opportunity and networking for IIO Cambodia also. My question is that you have quite similar challenges, the same Cambodia, but then in the government, does your government have a national strategy development plan that in the plan there is a policy or there is some statement said that the challenge of current people at coastal area should have intervention mechanism 1, 2, 3 or something like that? Thank you.
Dr. Mondal, do you want to respond? Should I do that?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think we have in the coastal area, the challenges are mentioned, different challenges are there, but the main challenge is the excess water in the wet season. And that is hindering the cropping system intensification, because in the excess water, a high yielding variety cannot be grown, only traditional variety. So managing the dry season or wet season water drainage, our previous speaker mentioned that there is a conflict. There is no conflict in the wet season drainage, because wet season is all non-saline. Only in the dry season, some farmers can go for shrimp culture, and some farmers wanted to go for rice culture. But that is a very minor area. We can leave that area for the time being. We can go for low-hanging fruits. Maybe 80% of the area, there is no conflict of this shrimp and rice. But the drainage excess water is there in all the areas. So government has taken initiative, definitely. But this as Dr. Salahuddin mentioned, that the Bangladesh Water Development Board has less staffing. Only the Department of Agriculture Extension, if they can come forward with the operation of management of the sluice gate, then that will be useful. And then they are coming up. The technology that I presented, cluster farmer field school approach, DAE is going to institutionalize this, and they have submitted a project to the government to manage these water resources through CFFS for the entire coastal zone of Bangladesh. So government has taken initiative. And I have a question from Trang that greenhouse gas emission. Yes, you are very interesting. We started measuring since it is a partial drainage, we started measuring the greenhouse gas emission from the drained and undrained field, from the high yielding variety and traditional varieties. But we have to stop it, because that was initiated during AMD, Asian Mega Delta Project. But this is a good research area. If funding is available, this is interesting to conduct research and then comment on the benefit of that drainage. And if there is any benefit, then the government will be more encouraged to adopt this technology or adopt these policies for the coastal zone of Bangladesh. Thank you.
Dr. Mohiuddin, you raised your hand once. Do you want to ask your question? Do you have a question? I don't see him anymore. So, Tanzania, Kanam, do you want to ask the question? You can unmute and ask the question, please, if you want.
He already raised, I think, question in the chat box.
Are you listening to me?
Yeah, please, you can ask
Okay,
directly.
my question was a general question. So I was wondering why all the studies is about coastal areas, because if I have understanding that the whole Bangladesh is impacted by climate change, why not north or northwest? Which area we have drought, soil erosion, or river bank erosion?
Yeah. Actually, you know, the issue that most of the presenters actually had worked in the Asian Mega Delta program before. So under that program, we had emphasis on the southern area. But Dr. Sharif also worked in the north in another project. So climate change issues are everywhere, and we need to address them. That very much well recognized.
Can I add something?
Yes, please.
Yeah, so often is come climate change. So you always try to issue mostly issues in coastal area, but so different types of climate change are happening different areas, different location. For example, in coastal area, mostly cyclone, seasonal flood, and other salinity problems are there. So if we consider in the northern part, so other climate change effect are there. For example, drought is there, or flash flood is there, and also recently it's called heat shock is also there. So in this presentation, our focus is mostly I think in coastal areas. So, but I think it also depend. You mentioned the student. So, for example, the universities who is in Patuakhali or Khulna, their location in the coastal belt, they mostly focus in this area. But other university who's located in the northern, they also focus in this area.
Anybody wants to ask any question anymore?
Sir, I saw the raise of the Mr. Farooq from executive engineer. Maybe he raised his hand earlier.
Oh, please go ahead, Mr. Farooq.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum
Thank you. Give me the opportunity to. Actually, I want to give you a overview. In 2021-2022 session, I have done our BADC have done some canal re-excavation in the Botia Ghata. You may know that. That this year I found that the command area, the cropped area increased significantly. This area, not only for the rice only in Rabi season, but also the other crops they practices like the watermelon and also the some kind of other vegetables. The production area and also as well as their yield, the productivity increased significantly. So if we manage the water properly in the coastal region, maybe there is an enormous opportunity to improve the productivity in that area.
Yeah, great. Actually, we're looking for collaborative work with you. So I think we have to find out ways that how we can collaborate and then make it more, productive. So maybe in the coming days, we can have a good, meeting with BADC if you are available, and then we can see that how, based on the experience and research outputs that we have so far, we can, take this forward for future.
Sorry, and the other portion that Dr. Manoranjan mentioned, that the water logging or excess water. Actually, it's a problem for if you go for the geographical context, then might be the upper Khulna, upper Satkira, and the upper Bagrat, especially for the southwest region. That region I am working for. This region is suffering from the waterlogging. We may call it waterlogging or maybe the excess water. And because this area, the polder, maybe this might be the drawback side of the polder maybe, because this area elevation is little bit compared little bit low with compared to the southern zone. So the rainwater is difficult to drainage, and also the connectivity, the surrounding river also become the silted. So it's very difficult to drainage this stagnant water naturally. So it's a challenging issue for this area. And okay, and then it might be a good option that when you select some folder you are going to work, then if we go together in a collaborative way, that maybe my BADC, maybe the other institution also, if they have some water management issues, water management interventions, then maybe their findings maybe it more significant and more valuable maybe. Thank you.
Yes, sure.
I think we welcome Engineer Farooq that yes, by digging, re-excavating the canals, we can increase the availability of water in the dry season, and that's not if we can use for the dry season crop, high value crops, that would be more beneficial than the growing rice.
Okay. And that if we dig the canal, if we re-excavate the canal, it also may provide you the opportunity to early drainage your water. That will give you maybe the early zoe condition also. That might be also beneficial for the other crop also maybe.
Exactly.
We have exceeded our time limit, but if anyone has a crucial question, we can still consider. And please note that the organizers want to take a picture of all of us. So before we go, we'll have that picture session, and we need to open our cameras so that the picture is good.
While the people are opening for camera, I got the question of greenhouse gas measurement. So I am asking our fellow researchers across the Asia or whoever listening, if we can develop a methodology or research program to measure the greenhouse gas emission under partial drainage condition, that would be, we will welcome that to a study here in Bangladesh.
Okay. Thank you so much. So with that, I would like to thank everybody, all the presenters, Dr. Manoranjan Mondal, Dr. Sharif Ahmed, Dr. Jayanta Bhattacharya, Dr. Mourani Shorkar for their contribution, and all the participants for their questions and support. So we will look forward to talk to you if anyone wants to have one already showed the interest to have a copy of the presentations from our friend from Cambodia. So Bushra, please take note of that, and we should follow. If anyone else is interested, please let us know. We can send a copy of the presentations. And if anyone is very serious about having a copy of the CS map atlas, that is also welcome. So with that, I would like to conclude, and thank you everybody. Please open your cameras for the picture. Thanks the organizers also from ICCCAD for their support from the background.
Sharif bhai, please open on your camera.
Engineer, your camera is off.
Yes, but I could not open it.
Is taken. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
So it will be the video will be available. If it is available, please let us know so that we can also share with others.
Sure. Very soon it will be uploaded to our YouTube channel, then you can find the recorded video.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye. Assalamu alaikum.